So anyway, I've been out in the rain protesting. I was going to go downtown to by the sheriff's department, but my ride never came, so I just walked down to the end of the street where the big intersection is to Yemen's Drive and um, uh, uh, Sea Island Parkway in Beaufort, Ladies Island, Beaufort, South Carolina. And I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted my signs to say, so I did a bunch of them, but I decided on two since I was just walking and carrying them. And of course, this one says terrorism, heroin, and cocaine, 500 feet from 1,300 school kids. Because I live about 500 feet, less than 500 feet actually, from Beaufort High School, where there's 1,300 school children. And then I said, "What's the matter, Sheriff P.J. Tanner?" He is certainly a huge problem for Beaufort County, and I certainly think he's crooked, and I believe he's part of the Captain Obvious Racketeering Group. I don't think he's just a conspirator. I think he actually would be counted in a RICO prosecution as actually an enterprise member of a racketeering influenced corrupt organization. And the reason that I chose these is obviously they're true, and because there's been massive amounts of heroin sent into my house uh, up until my son was kidnapped, and now of course there's no heroin or coke. The cocaine came because I woke up one morning and they say the best part of waking up is Folgers, but I opened my refrigerator and pulled out, oh my God, a tied up baggie of about a gram of looked like the purest Peruvian flake that I've ever seen. Of course, I haven't done cocaine in decades, but I mean, it certainly was not what I would expect to be the run of the mill stuff. Looked like it was right off a Colombian boat, maybe from a DEA agent. I don't know, but anyway, what I did was I called the police, Sheriff P.J. Tanner's department, and handed it over to them. And of course, they said, "Well, since I had taken it out of the refrigerator, well, of course, anybody that opens the refrigerator and reach for half and pull out a gram of Coke, I went ahead and took it on out and opened it and stuff like that. But they said since I touched it, that they couldn't do anything about it whatsoever. The fact that someone broke into my house and put cocaine in my refrigerator, no big deal for them. And this crime ring has been giving my son as a way to terrorize me. They've been giving my son free heroin, and I was thinking, when I was walking home, they say that heroin is even more addictive, physically addictive than nicotine. I've never done it. I'm allergic to opiates, but someone on ladies, and they were sending me messages with that. And also, one time they gave him, some dope, and the drug dealer said, "Hey, listen, would you mind going around there to the corner store and picking me up a pack of those male enhancement pills? Um, my girlfriend's coming over, and I thought maybe it would be good." Well, dude had a car sitting outside. Why didn't he go get his own enhancement pills? He can certainly give my son free heroin and free Dilaudid, but he can't run around there and get some stuff to get lucky with his girlfriend. Well, no, the reason that he said that is it has to do with enhancements, prosecution enhancements in a federal RICO. And he sent the message to me because my son was like, "Can you believe this?" And I was like, "Come on," and I didn't say anything, and I just. Of course, I tried to get it, but anyway, he was already high after that. But this is one thing I'm going to tell you about P.J. Tanner and his. I've never seen. Of course, I've never seen anything dirtier than a bunch of feds, and I've known them a long time. And more of my videos later will tell you why. It has to do with some pretty personal things that I haven't really gotten into yet. But they give him heroin, and he's handicapped. He was never supposed to walk, but I never listened to any kind of something like that, kind of negative statement. So when he was little, yes, he did walk, and I did teach him how to ride a bicycle. And so they're giving him free heroin on Ladies Island, and I'm raising hell with the police. Please, please, please do something about this problem. It's going to kill my son. He's been on a ventilator 8 times, 8 times, and he's never lived independently. He's always depended on his mother. I'm a nurse. I'm a super empath, and come hell or high water, if the creek don't rise, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save my kid's life until we can get out of this hellhole that this group has put us in. Well, he's been kidnapped now for months and months, and he's been held in a Stockholm syndrome kind of situation on the other side of the country. Finally, after 9 weeks, I was able to verify that he is alive. So that was certainly, somewhat reassuring, certainly very reassuring. But he's not home with his mom yet. So I'm continuing to work on that. The people that have him are crime ring conspirators, and I can guarantee you this: they're going to pay for it. They're going to be very sorry. In fact, a TSA supervisor has already testified under oath that she removed him while he was high on methamphetamine from Florida. We went to Florida to try to flee from the crime ring. She's testified that she's removed him from Florida, and she lied to the police previously about it, but now she's testified that she did remove him, and she took him across state lines. So anyway, back to PJ Tanner and his boys, and so I'm calling them, and because what my son is doing is after they give him free heroin, then somebody else will call him and encourage him to get on his bicycle late at night and ride around Beaufort over the bridges. Ladies Island is an island that has bridges on both ways to get off of the island. And so he's getting on a bicycle late at night with a little light, and he's riding over bridges, and so I'm telling the police, look, I need help with him. Please call the crisis unit, because I thought, in the circumstances, maybe I could get him admitted for some drug treatment. No, they wouldn't do that. They would not do that anytime. They would not call the crisis unit to come out here and evaluate him. And I definitely think that was very probably illegal, but they're definitely corrupt and suggested that they were participating in this coercion to get me not to talk about these criminals. And and I'm saying, look, even, obviously you don't care much about me, or you certainly don't care about my son, but what about all the other people in Beaufort that are on the road? And he's handicapped, he has cerebral palsy, and if he goes out in traffic, or certainly while he's riding on the side of the bridge, if he veers over, as someone with balance problems might do, that bicycle could go through that front window and kill somebody else's children too. No big deal for them. No big deal. They wouldn't say anything else. Well, you get to a desperation point where, you go, well, what about biking under the influence of heroin? No big deal. And well, it's certainly not a big deal for them. I think that what's happened is Sheriff Peter Tanner and his deputies have gotten in so far over their heads that that now the only thing that they can say to do, think to do, especially now that they realize that there's a federal task force that's protecting me. They can't kill me, but they can be just as big assholes and break the law. And I believe that serving and protecting. Well, they're not. They're certainly not protecting anybody. So definitely they need to be serving some time either in state prison or federal prison. Lots of it, as far as I'm concerned. But here was one thing. One night I did call them and I showed them on video just how absolutely inebriated he was from heroin. And the officer that came, they said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You wrecked in the middle of Sion Parkway about a year ago." And my son said yeah. And apparently this was during the daytime, and he was not high on heroin then. But I thought, you know what? What a good cover your ass CYA kind of thing to just say, go ahead and say that, of course, on body cam, so that if he does wreck high on heroin and he kills himself and he kills other people that in an oncoming car, whatever, that they thought they had it all covered. Of course, a lot of times the more you say and the more you attempt to cover up stuff, the worse it looks. Because why didn't they come tell me then, hey, your son just wrecked? So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But I do live within 500 feet of Beaufort High School, 1,300 school children, high school kids. That's when everybody starts kind of messing around with drugs anyway. And if it, but it's certainly it's going to be very enhancing for them as far as a prosecution enhancement, that that they'll do nothing to investigate the heroin dealers. They'll do nothing to investigate me getting cocaine in my refrigerator, and they'll do nothing to protect my son, who is incompetent and does need the protection of law enforcement, and my protection as well. And they care not for anybody else's children either. And just rest assured that Beaufort County Sheriff's Department, when they told me that, they were tired of me calling 911 because it was costing them money. I don't know how much money PJ Tanner or some of his other, higher level deputies have made under the table of dirty money, but I can guarantee you this, PJ, and your boys and your girls. I think it was Deputy Moser or Masha, or told me that it was costing them money. Well, you know what? It had almost cost my son's life, and there is no amount of money that equates to human lives. So this is just more of my impact statements, and just get ready for that, because whether you like it or not, I'll be there, and I'm going to testify against you, and you're going to hear all this impact again. So rest easy tonight. Not.